All right, we shall see. I was looking at his games in the last week, and yeah, so he's gonna play King's Indian. I can do my normal stuff. I'm gonna play B3 King's Indian, and he's probably gonna go for some kind of 97 rook e8 e5. Now, recently he's been playing just straight up e5 or 97 e5 without rook e8. But those are against the class, like against the classical. He played e5, so maybe he's like learning theory. And he played 97 e5 against the Fianchetto version, so maybe he's all right. He said hi, good game, which I know some people think good game means like, oh, it's over, like that was fun, but I know in some cultures they say good game as a way of saying good luck, have fun, or like here's to a good game. Okay, yeah, so we're getting the position I prepped for. This isn't targeted prep. This is like legitimately the recommendation of my book. So he's probably going to go rook e8, if I had to guess. Now he can still play e5 here, and after takes, I could do here, but then there's something wrong with it. I think it's like, I don't know. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, so here I have a decision. The book recommends rook e1, e5 takes, maybe something like knight g4. But the computer and the GMs have been playing a4 in this position. Just like kind of playing out like AlphaZero style, and they'll go like a4, a5, and just leave the pawn there until the endgame. Now, I read the book on the AlphaZero stuff, and I can't remember exactly the criteria on when this a4, a5 idea is good, and it works on any flank, so like a5, a4 for black, h5, h4, or h4, h5. I'm just trying to remember. I know a4 is an idea, and a5 is an idea too. It's just, do I want to go rook e1 or do I want to go a4? Rook e1 is part of the book, but a4 looks interesting. I'm going to go a4. Let's make it interesting. So now I'm expecting e5, de, and I don't know how he's going to recapture, or if he's going to play knight g4. This is about where my prep is going to end, but that's okay. I guess as we're waiting here, it is like 10 degrees outside in Fahrenheit. Eastern US is supposed to get hit with like a ton of snow over the weekend. So that's going to be an interesting development. But you know what? I'm staying inside for most of it, so that's all good. Not a problem. We'll see what happens on Monday when we got to go to work. If we have to go to work. I don't know if we do. C6, yeah. Okay. This is one of the moves I was looking at this morning, and I can actually just play a5. And I can just leave the pawn there. And another idea of a4, a5 is that I can try to do something like bringing my knight to c4. Obviously not in this position because the queen is hitting it, but I can even play c4, knight c3 as well. I know queen c7 has been played. Okay, a6. He's a little scared of my pawn, which is fine by me. So now I think I want to play c4. Although, do I really want to play knight c3? Because that lets him play e5. But I think c4 is a good start. b4 is also interesting. But after d5... I mean, his dark squares are kind of weak, but how do I actually abuse that? I don't think I can. And then also playing c4 gets really hard after b4, so I think I will play c4. This is all like somewhat familiar to me, so. Now, one idea I'm having is queen d2, knight c3, or queen d2, knight a3, so that I can, well, actually, no, I put the pawn on c4, so that's not an idea anymore. Never mind. So, okay, so I'm still expecting e5 at some point. I don't know when, but some point. I can play knight c3. I can play knight d2, knight bd2 specifically. Queen c1, queen d2. Maybe queen c2, but I think after like e5 takes, even something like knight takes, right? He'll have bishop f5 later and he gains a tempo. Although I might have e4 in some of those positions, so yeah. But I know in a lot of these positions, you don't actually want your queen on c2. Like it's better on c1 or d2. I think if I'm gonna play rook e1, then queen d2 is better. Or I think maybe it's vice versa. But yeah, I don't think I want to play queen c2 because of bishop f5 eventually. So maybe like queen c1, rook d1, or rook e1. Although what's the difference between queen c1 and queen d2? I guess knight d2 being the possible. Like if I play queen d2, I can't put my knight there, so I'd have to go here, but that lets him play e5. Okay, queen c7. Yeah, so he's preparing e5 now. Knight bd2, queen c1. Both moves look fine. I'm leaning towards queen c1, just so that my dark squared bishop is protected if after something like e5 takes and like, you know, maybe this diagonal will open up. h3 is also kind of interesting to stop knight g4 after e5. But do I really need to stop knight g4? I don't think so. So maybe I will go queen c1. All right, so e5. Okay, recording. Okay, yeah, recording is going. Yep, e5. Take. I think now knight d2, knight bd2. e4 doesn't work because I never played rook e1. Could also play e3. But I feel like I'm okay with letting his pawn. Well, actually, hold on. Knight bd2, e4, knight d4, e3 is kind of annoying. But I guess fe, rook e. And then knight 2, f3. Attacks the rook. I can like try to later play for e4 with rook e1. Sounds plausible. I'll go knight d2. I was considering rook e1 last second, but you know, maybe the rook is fine on this f-file because if he pushes all the way and I take here, then I get this open f-file. Kind of feel like I also want to play b4 at some point. Although b4, bishop f8, and then it's like, this is a weak pawn. And I don't think I would, well, if he's playing bishop f8, then this diagonal is open. Hmm. So I'm expecting him to play e4. What if he doesn't play e4? What if he plays like knight c5? Knight c5 does make his e4, e3 a little scary because he gets tempo on my f3 knight, and then my d2 knight needs to move, and then b3 is no longer protected. And that's a fork if his knight's on c5. Right, it's like knight c5, something like e3, knight c5, e3, e4, knight d4. Actually, knight d4 protects. Knight d4 protects b3 as well. But maybe I want to play like rook a2. Oh yeah, rook a2 is a move. in some of these positions as well when the center opens up. I just have to be careful because with the queen on c7, my a5 pawn could fall. So maybe I want to play bishop c3, keep it all together. Or even queen c3. Queen c3 and somehow dislodge the knight on f6. I'm also considering now knight g5 with the idea of knight e4, knight ge4. But then knight takes, knight f6. I mean, that still looks fine. So e4, knight g5. But then e3. e3, fe. Rook e3. Rook e3. Knight de4. Knight e4, knight e4. The rook is trapped. No, he is rook e2. So, okay, yeah, knight c5. This is the move I was kind of expecting. So why can't I play b4? b4 knight e4 doesn't work. What am I saying? b4. There's no knight b3. There's no knight a4. I mean, I guess he can play knight ce4. Knight ce4. I can kind of leave that there. He's just blocking his own e-pawn. But then how do I deal with the later like queen d6 or queen e7? Maybe queen d2 there. But then he has rook d8. I can also go bishop a3. No, I can't. Yes, I can. Bishop a3. Bishop a3, if queen a5, I have b4 to fork. Is that the end of the story? I believe so. Bishop a3. If he goes knight e4, maybe knight takes, knight e2. b4 right away. What? Yeah. Yeah. Maybe an hour, 2 hours. Bishop a3. Okay, let me just triple check. Bishop a3, queen a5, b4. Knight b3 doesn't work. Knight takes. Knight e4. Take, knight d2. Or no, take the queen. Duh. Yes, I think I can play bishop a3. Which conveniently also controls these squares for the queen, which might be useful, maybe. Now, what if he goes bishop f8? Then maybe I'll go b4. Knight a4, I mean, just go back. Or maybe I'll queen. Maybe I'll play queen c2 there. So after something like... After his knight moves, what's the plan? The bishop's hanging, or the pawn is hanging. I don't really want to play b4. Maybe I do want to play b4. Oh my god, can I like let him take on a5 and then play like bishop f8 discovered attack? That'd be hilarious. I think I do want to play e3 at some point. Just to control these squares, or I guess this square. So e3 sounds like a decent move. What else? h3, just trying to keep his pieces away. So let's just say like knight c d7. Or maybe even knight e4. Let's just say knight ce4, knight takes, knight takes. Can I play h3 with the idea of queen takes a5, bishop f8? Bishop f8. Once the queen moves, I'd play bishop g7, king g7. Something tells me that doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't work because I'm losing a pawn. Okay, yeah, knight e6. So like I kind of wanted to play, I want to play b4, but I also don't. Maybe I can actually just go back, because this pawn is only defended once right now. So take, or it's not take. Here, takes, would plunder the pawn. Oh no, he has this. But I can go here though. And goes back, yeah. So I could go back to a3. Do I really want to draw here though? I mean, the evaluation is like probably like 0.5 plus 0.5. Not that that's really meaningful, but I also need to realize knight d3 is an idea. If I move the e-pawn. If I play e3, then knight d3 is very annoying. Losing the bishop for no reason. Bishop a3. If I go back, he'll go back to e6. And after knight c5, it's a threefold. It's like, do I really want to draw here? Am I okay with a draw in this position? I don't think so. Or I should say, there's no reason to take a draw so early. If I play bishop a3, then he's... Or wait, bishop a3, knight e6. Well, I can play bishop a3, knight e6, bishop b2, and then if he can decide to take the draw with knight c5, but does he want to draw? Do I want to draw? So why don't I like b4 here? b4, knight d7. b4, knight cd7. Looks fine for me. I can probably just play like h3. And he's... Well, he can play e4. Or wait. Yeah, no, never mind. Could also play c5 after b4. b4, knight d7, c5, e4, knight d4. I mean, what other moves do I have? What else? What else? That's the question I need to ask myself more. What else? I can play rook e1. I think b4 is better. Because he's preparing this move. So here, there, take, take, take. Knight ce4. What if I take? And then play h4. Can like start to try to strand the knight in the middle of the board. Well, no, because he's always gonna have knight f6 back, so no need for that. Trade, but who does that benefit? Trade h3 just to stop bishop g4. Can I also play b5 here? Not really, because he can play ab. So do I want to take first? I don't think there's a reason to take, though. So I could play just h3, I guess. I'm down a minute. I was up like a few minutes before. I think I spent a little too long on b4. I think I spent a little too long deciding on b4. Yeah, I want to play e3 at some point. Maybe I could have played a last turn even. I think if he goes take, e4, I might want to play e3 then. Because if he gets his pawn to e3, these pawns become weak. I don't really want to allow that. Okay. Can I play e3 now? Maybe. So if he plays h4, I can first of all take. But I can also play g4. Maybe I'll just play e3 now. I guess also, do I want to keep my rook on f1? I'm going to go e3. Just keep the e-file closed, and then I'll play rook d1. And try to control the d-file. I also want to attack this pawn, but I don't know how. I guess queen c3 at some point. But kind of hard when this knight is here. Or I guess I can do boom, boom, boom. And if he takes, then I'll play queen c3 next. Oh, maybe I could have taken right away then. Take here. No, but then I don't have a knight attacking e4, e5 from f3 on f3, so I'd have to like bring my knight back. Unless I play c5, knight c4. I'm trying to think how he develops his light squared bishop. Probably here, or probably here. Makes most sense. You could even play it now. But then don't I have knight h4? Bishop b6 loses the pawn. Well, I guess you can also take here. Bishop e6. Maybe I take here first. And then take here. No, that doesn't work because this bishop's open now. So bishop e6 might be his move. Maybe I'll just... I don't want to go c5 though. Maybe I do. Bishop e6, c5. Yeah, bishop f5, yeah. But why can't I go knight h4? Why can't I go knight h4? Knight h4. I guess knight d2, queen d2, rook a d8, queen c1, or queen c3. No, queen c3, knight e4. That was another tempo, so queen c1, and then bishop e6. And now my knight's in a weird spot. But I just bring it back. If I take on e4 first, he has bishop takes, and I don't think I want to trade bishops yet. Let's play rook d1 then. No. Because he can try for queen d7 and attack my h3 pawn, so maybe I will go knight h4 anyway? Or should I... No, taking doesn't change anything. Knight b3, c5, knight... No, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna take here. I don't really have a plan, if I'm gonna be honest. If he plays knight takes, maybe then I'll play knight h4. Because the one thing I'm concerned about is some idea of like lining up here, and if I need to play king h2, this rook is tied to defending this pawn. So maybe if knight takes, I'll go here. Oh, bishop takes. Maybe now I can go rook d1. Or maybe now queen c3. Actually, queen c3 makes a lot of sense. Because I'm pressuring this pawn, and if he trades here, just go like here or something. No, I should go back here. I also considered rook d1, but after rook d8, I feel like there's going to be some weird tactics going on. Which is not a good way to evaluate things. But that's what it was. Alright, so I'm hoping he takes here. Well, am I hoping that? I don't know. The fact of the matter is I'm threatening this. He might play knight d7, but then I'll play rook d1, rook fd1. And where does the other rook go? Yeah, I mean, I have 3 options, or I guess 2. Well, I guess keeping it here is an option, so I have 3 options. I'm still keeping an eye on b5 as an idea. Because now with the queen on c3, I'm not concerned about rook a5. The a5 pawn is protected after b5. So actually this move is better than I thought it was. Because I'm threatening here, and I'm also threatening here, I think. Right, because this queen is hanging, so b5, take. You can't take this way. And I'm threatening to win a pawn. So maybe like you back up. Or you can go here or here. Probably this. Actually, no, either way, like after a takes, like none of these are particularly, all of them have drawbacks. Right, because here, there. If you go here, if you go rook ec8, this pawn is a little weak, which I might be able to take. Although after knight d7, maybe not. Because there's this pin here. Well, I guess I have f4. So, I guess it technically works, but then this pawn is backwards. But I guess he has this pawn in the way. But no, it's not in the way anymore. That might be okay, actually. I'll have to play like king h2 later. But anyway, here, there. Let's just say this rook. Can I go like here? Here? Takes, rook takes? Well, no, because this pawn is hanging. b5 is very interesting. b5, a, b, c, b. I mean, we can both. If we trade on f3, I think that's still fine for me. I think b5 is still a problem. Is there ever a world where knight g5 is a good move? Probably not. Bishop h6, h4, f6 at some point. Don't see the point in putting my knight there. He's thinking. He is thinking. Psychologically, I feel better. I'm up 5 minutes. Evaluation of the position. I have to be better. Well, do I have to be? I just feel like it's getting complicated for black. Because my first thought was he trades and then plays like here. Okay, he goes there, protecting this pawn. Oh, wait. Can I take anyway? Can I take anyway? Knight e5. Queen e5, though. No, knight e5, queen e5, and that's the end of this story. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Alright, so what about b5 now? b5, a, b, c, b. c5, a6, take. I wish there was a way to get rid of this bishop without trading my own. I guess I have queen c4. So b5, a, b, c, b. But what if he doesn't take? What if after b5 he plays knight b5, knight c5? That's actually kind of annoying. Knight c5. So maybe I'll start with rook d1. Rook fd1. Kind of just passing the turn back. His knight doesn't really have any forward squares besides f6. He can play rook a d8, but then b5, b5, knight c5. Yeah, he doesn't have to take is the problem. But I guess it's like, what are you doing after knight c5, right? It's not going anywhere. I guess maybe knight e6. Yeah, let's start with rook d1. I thought about b5, knight c5, b6, but then after the queen moves, it's like pawns are stuck. I can't make progress. So another idea is c5, queen c4. Or me playing c5 and queen c4. Which looks okay. My dark squared bishop is loose. Yeah, I don't know if that's the greatest idea. c5, queen c4, take here, double attack. If I take here, it takes here. Okay. Bishop f6. I'm guessing he's trying to reroute to e7. But if he goes to e7, I take on e5. Right? No, because then there's the pin again. He's got 4 attackers. I only have 3 defenders. Ah, I see. Now he wants to trade on f3 and then play e4 with another double attack. Okay, fair. Maybe then I will play queen b3. Queen c1 is another idea. That feels kind of passive. So queen b3. I was worried about some weird tactics here, but I don't think there are any. Maybe if he goes here and here. I actually like really want him to take on f3, but there's no way for me to force him to do that. I also had an idea of playing c5 and then allowing him to play bishop c4 or c5, bishop d5, and then I was going to sack the exchange, rook d5, cd5, and then what? Maybe like knight e1, knight d2, something like that. Which actually looks kind of interesting. But he's going to pile up on the d file, so I don't know if it really works. Like, I don't think I'm ever winning the e5 pawn. So maybe I'll go knight d2. Knight d2 with the idea of like knight e4. Seems fine. Knight f8 though. Well, knight d2, he has to make a decision with the bishop. If he trades, then I think it's fine. Knight f8 after that, knight e4. I was thinking h4, knight g4, but after this trade, like, what is this pawn doing here? I'll go knight d2. Trade here. I guess now he can go e4 though. e4, take. I don't know. Maybe if he goes e4, I'll play c5. Or e4, take, c5. And I'm trying to go knight c4, knight here. The sun is in my face. It's always around this time of day on the weekend. Well, any day really, that the sun just like comes straight through here. But I can like lean back and it's fine. Yeah. Alright. I don't know who's better here. I feel like I'm better. But it's not clear how. I don't think I am better. I'm gonna be honest. Knight f8, yeah. Sure. With the idea of knight e6, I suppose. But after knight e4, let's say we trade rooks, and then... Well, no, he has to go bishop g7 first. He's going to take on f6. Ah, and then maybe then I can play c5 and play for knight d6. That sounds reasonable. No pins available here. I should come back to this b5 idea. I'd have to trade here first. Wait, no, I don't. No, okay, I don't like this idea because b5, a, b, c, b, c, b, queen c2, rook here. Actually, no, I don't have to take. Everything's defended. Oh, maybe it's okay then. Maybe queen c2 doesn't work. Maybe I'll go queen there, or knight there, but then he kicks me. I don't know. I don't think I'm actually getting a passed pawn. So now I'm thinking, if I play c5, I'm not playing b5. c5 with the idea of knight d6. But he'll play knight e6 and bishop f8. But I could always just retreat my knight back. So I think I will play c5. I think playing b5 gives him too much counterplay. Or it's going to open up the files, and I don't think that's the point of this position right now. Because neither of us are really getting an advantage. It's going to be a5 versus b7. So I will go c5. Because after this, I can also retreat to c4 and try to use this hole on b6. I don't know how, but I'll find a way. Is knight g5 ever an idea? Probably not. No, I just play knight d6 with the same idea of attacking f7. I mean, it's protected, so it doesn't really work right now. For what it's worth, I have a hole on d5 that I can't really do anything about. Well, I mean, I guess I could go knight c3. but at the same time, how's he routing his knight here, right? You have to go like 1, 2, 3. Okay, rook e7. Which I guess he wants to just protect f7, which is fair. He could also try to play rook e d7 and double up, which I can't say I'm a fan of. Do I ever trade the rook here? I'm also concerned about f5 pawn is pinned. So if I trade, queen lands on d8, I go knight d6. If I go knight d6 right away, I can also go rook d6. Rook d6. But then if he plays king h8, it's like I don't think I wanted my rook there. I think I would have wanted my knight on d6 so I can go to c4 after f5 happens. What if he sacks the exchange? I mean, I have a fork right away, so that doesn't work. If he plays e4, I'll trade here. Maybe I'll give him a check for fun. Knight h7. I might actually want to play h4 here. Because h4 means he has to go here to reroute. I guess he gets this square then. Well, if I let him go here, he can go... Maybe h4 here, there? But what if I start with this? Doesn't... Maybe then I'll play h3, h4. I mean, if he goes here, I just kick him first. But then he has this intermezzo. Take, take. I think I'll just double my rooks for now. No. Maybe. Don't want my rooks. Although I did just walk into e4. Yes, maybe rook d2 is better. That's not good. Too bad this isn't a check. Okay, knight of 6. Which is fine, I think. I think just rook d1, right? Not really well, I guess he's going here, right? That's what I was afraid of. Knight d5. Oh, does this... Wait, I don't think he can play e4. Alright, so I was thinking knight here, there. He goes back and I'll play this. But if he starts with e4 and then goes here, I can take here first, give this check, and then win the rook. But if he starts with e4, can I not just go here? But then he can go here. Take here. Wait, so e4, knight d4, or e4, rook d4, knight d5. Blunders the pawn on e4. Wait, does it? e4, rook d4, knight d5. If I take the pawn, if he takes my bishop, I'll take his rook, and then... Wait, so does this work? Yeah, because his knight's in the way, so my rook on d1 is not actually hanging. But why don't I just play knight takes e4? What's wrong with that? Knight takes e4. If rook, well, his rook is hanging, so he might trade rooks first. But I have, wait, no. Knight takes, if rook d3, knight of 6 check, bishop takes. have rook d3, and that wins the pawn. But I guess I'll play rook 3d2. And set a trap. But rook d2, there's no clear follow-up. But I think knight takes works. Because I have this in-between check. And if he takes here, I win the rook. Well, I guess it's just an exchange, but it should still be good for me, I think. Yeah, but then I have this. Bishop takes. Now I just have to play rook takes. Can I play bishop takes? No, I'm down in exchange. I guess I could have played this, right? Because then if take... I'm up a pawn, but this looks drawable. I mean, I have to use this 4-on-3, obviously, but... not so simple. Did he blunder? I don't think so. Oh yeah, I can exchange, so that's fine. Okay, how do I convert this? Can I convert this? It's a great question. Here, king h7. Is that pushing the king away or closer? Queen b2 is a big problem. I can set a trap, I guess. King h7 here. I'm just trying to see if he'll go here to either oh, he does. King f6 here. I guess he's a little more active, huh? Yeah, I didn't see that properly. Yeah. If I go here, he has this. If I take, his king's more active. He can go here, which is a big problem. I can go here. Threatening this. Take. Here. I'm not really stopping him, huh? Do you have to go for counterplay then? Because I think the pawn endgame is losing. Yeah, I think I have to go for counterplay. I'm just debating if I go here. No. Here. I don't know. I actually didn't even realize it was threefold. If I'm gonna be completely honest. But it felt very unclear whether I was winning or not. Yeah, so maybe I should have started with queen d4. But I mean, like, okay, queen d4, queen f6, queen f5, I mean, h4, king g7, no, king g7 doesn't work. Here. I still feel like his king is more active than mine. Or I guess I can maybe here, there, here. Maybe that was a better continuation. Yeah, I thought that it was a pin, but it doesn't actually matter because he gets his king more active. I misjudged that very, very much. Yeah, this endgame, like I'm up a pawn, but I don't know if I'm really winning. Queens are really active pieces, so it's very easy if I make like a quiet move like here. Like, it's very easy for him to get counterplay. You can also go there, but then he's super passive, so... Yeah, I mean, I think I could have won this if I was better. I just didn't... I'm just bad. That's really what it is, so... Let's go here. Let's turn off the engine first. I was winning, huh? Yeah. Let me throw this in the study. The sun is like completely in my face now. So yeah, this is all prep. Rookie 8, yeah, this was all prep. This was... Alright, I'll notate it all. I'll notate it after I yap, so I don't waste everyone's time typing. Yeah, c6, I remember seeing this move, and I saw a5 was playable. Might not have been the best move, but it's a move. And I know knight a3, knight c4 is an idea. Just because, like, the whole point of a4 is to try to get your knight to c4, but with c6, b5 isn't that possible, and after take, the knight gets kicked out of c4. So, like, for example, let's just say random move, knight here, b5, take, and now this has to move, so... Yeah, a6, I feel like a6 wasn't necessary, but I guess it's fine. Maybe in positions where I have a bishop on f1, then it becomes an interesting target. Maybe. c4. Yeah, see, maybe I should have played queen d2 here to defend this pawn so that I can go here. Maybe. So this was all... I don't know how normal this is. Yeah, maybe I should have just... Here I was thinking maybe b4 right away is just better. Just to kick the knight out. Can't go anywhere. Like, if he goes knight e4, I don't think I care that much. It can kind of just continue with whatever I want to do. It gets a little repetition, knight e4 anyway. I wonder if h3 was even necessary. Maybe I could have done something like this. I mean, this doesn't look better for me. If anything, this is better for him. Just like slowly trying to maneuver. Yeah, I felt like I should have been so much better here. But I couldn't figure out how. Knight h7. Yeah, h4 was on my mind, but then something like this. And it's like, what do I do here? Oh, wait, I can take this. Okay, so maybe I should have played h4. Or maybe he goes... Oh, I missed how good h4 was. Or no, wait, he can take. What am I saying? Yeah, I didn't like the knight coming here. But I guess I could play f3. Maybe it's not so bad. Let's play f3 here. Knight there. Here. Yeah, why didn't I... Why didn't I go for this? Yeah, I severely misevaluated this. This should be winning for white. Alright. I wonder if this actually worked too. Something like this. Oh no, knight of 6 right here. Or knight of 5 right here. Okay, so maybe that doesn't work. Or I guess this is better. Yeah, okay, so this doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was up a pawn, but didn't see the way forward. This is what I thought was going to happen if I tried to play for the pawns. What if I went here? Oh, this would have been good. If we go this way... Hmm. Okay. So that does work. I thought Queen f4 didn't work. But again, just like not evaluating properly. But what if he goes here? Oh, I can still do this, huh? No, but then he can go here, right? Hmm. Oh, this still works. Okay. Well, I mean, kind of. Not really. Although I am faster. Am I faster? Yeah, I am faster. No, not e7. So take this, right? And I go here. But I mean, man, this is winning. Yeah, I was probably winning in that endgame. I just didn't see it. Yeah, no, I was definitely winning. King f3. Yeah, why didn't I play this? Why didn't I play this? Oh, this is what I saw. Then I have this, no? All right, well, at least I got a draw, but like, god damn it. I could have beaten him. Could have beaten him. Just need to work on the end games. That's really all it is. All right. I'll see you guys next week.